We wake each morning into a world we call real. The bed beneath us, the walls surrounding us, the sky above. But how often do we question what this real truly means? From childhood, we are taught that reality is what we can see, touch, name. But these sensations, these names, are filtered through a nervous system, interpreted by a brain shaped by a mind we barely understand. Every color you see, every voice you hear, every story you tell yourself about who you are, all arise within the theater of perception. And yet, we rarely doubt the stage itself. Edgar Allan Poe, in his haunting clarity, whispered the secret many mystics have echoed. All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. What if this world, with all its structure, meaning, and form, is nothing but a projection of our consciousness, a lucid dream with rules we've forgotten we created? We live immersed in this dream, but unlike in sleep, we rarely awaken from it. We call it reality, but how can it be so if everything we know is filtered through thought? Your memories are dreams of the past. Your fears, projections of a future that may never come. And even the present moment, fleeting and fluid, is never grasped fully before it dissolves. We chase shadows in this dream, build castles in sand, cling to names, titles, identities, yet even these, over time, vanish. Nothing remains but the witness, the one who sees the dream. But who is that? Who watches your thoughts arise and fade? Who notices your emotions without becoming them? Who stands behind the eyes that see, silently, eternally? There is something, or perhaps nothing, that never changes. It is not the body, which ages, not the mind, which shifts, not the feelings which rise and fall like tides. It is awareness itself. And this awareness is the dreamer, not separate from the dream, but also not bound by it. It is the silent field in which this apparent world unfolds, like mist upon the surface of a still lake. So before we try to fix the dream, to control it, win it, escape it, perhaps we must first see it. To recognize illusion is the beginning of freedom. And when we begin to see that all things pass, that nothing holds, that even you as you think you are is just a fleeting appearance, then something profound stirs. A space opens. A space that was always here, but had been forgotten. A space where truth is not spoken, but known.
Once the veil begins to thin, something shifts that cannot be undone. You may still live in the world, speak its language, walk its roads, but the center from where you see begins to move. It no longer clings to form. It no longer insists on labels. It watches. It watches the thoughts that come like waves, rising and falling with no shore to reach. It watches the emotions that swell, the joy, the fear, the longing, all like weather passing through the vast sky of presence. And in this seeing, something ancient and eternal is remembered. Not as a belief, not as an idea, but as a direct experience. This is not a dissociation from life, quite the opposite. It is the most intimate meeting with it. But now, instead of being caught in the scenes, you become the screen. You are not the storm, but the open sky in which it dances. Imagine a dream in which the dreamer wakes up, not to escape, but to fully see. To know the dream as dream is not to make it meaningless. It is to remove the illusion of solidity, the lie of permanence. It is to see that nothing can truly be held. Not your name, not your status, not even your most cherished beliefs. All are fluid, all are passing. And in that letting go, something paradoxical occurs. Peace arises. Not the peace that depends on outcomes or understanding, but the peace that comes from no longer fighting the waves. You may still play your role. You may still love, build, create. But now there is space. Now there is light. Now there is the echo of the eternal in every small thing. This dream becomes holy. The way the sunlight hits your skin, the sound of wind through leaves, the eyes of a stranger meeting yours, even the ordinary begins to shimmer, not because it changes, but because you see it without distortion, not through the hungry mind that always wants more, not through the fearful mind that always wants control, but through the open awareness that simply is. Poe was a poet of shadows, but even in shadow he pointed to light. The light of insight that comes not through effort, but through surrender, through silence, through seeing. And when you see that all is a dream, not to escape, but to dwell in it with grace, then the dream softens, the edges blur, and the boundary between dreamer and dream disappears. You are no longer in the dream. You are the very space that holds it. You are not lost because there was never anywhere to go. You are not broken because nothing real can be threatened. And you are not searching because what you sought was always who you are.
There is a moment, perhaps subtle, perhaps overwhelming, when the seeker begins to sense that the world is not what it seems, not in a paranoid way, but in a liberating one. You begin to see that the world is not out there, independent and objective, but reflected through the mirror of your perception. The color of a leaf, the weight of silence, even the feeling of time, all of it is filtered through the lens of your mind. And that lens is not fixed. It is shaped by memory, by emotion, by belief, by longing, by fear. So what, then, is truly real? Is it the external world of form and name, or is it the awareness that beholds it? In every spiritual tradition, in every sacred whisper across centuries, there lies a hidden truth. What you are seeking is not out there. It is not in the next possession, the next relationship, the next insight. It is here. Before the thought, before the perception, before even the sense of I. You are the dreamer, but more than that, you are the field in which the dream unfolds. And in this recognition, the entire tension of life begins to dissolve. You no longer need to control the dream. You no longer need to make it last. You no longer need to understand it fully. You simply need to see. This is not an act of the intellect. It is the gift of surrender. A surrender so deep, so total, that even the need to awaken is let go. That even the dream is allowed to be just what it is, impermanent, shimmering, untouchable. When Poe said, "All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream," he was not asking us to despair. He was inviting us to become lucid, not in the mind, but in being. To live with both feet in the dream, but with a heart anchored in what never sleeps. To touch the illusion lightly and let the real shine through it. And when you do, when you truly do, even the ordinary becomes sacred. Because now you're not trying to change the dream. You are simply witnessing it with reverence. Each moment becomes an offering, each breath a prayer, and the separation between the dreamer and the dreamed dissolves.
There comes a point when the very question begins to dissolve. You no longer ask, "Is this real?" or "Is this a dream?" because the need to define, to categorize, to grasp, softens. And in that softening, something timeless opens, a stillness, not the absence of movement, but a depth untouched by it. You begin to see that even the dream has a rhythm, a harmony, a sacred unfolding, and that the dreamer is not separate from the dreamed. They are one. The wave and the ocean, the mirror and the reflection, the silence and the sound. It is not about waking up from the dream. It is about waking up within it. Living with eyes open yet unattached. Engaged yet free. Present yet not imprisoned by what appears. And what arises in this state is a quiet joy. Not the loud excitement of the ego, but the serene smile of the soul. A joy that does not depend on the story turning out a certain way. A joy that is, simply because being is. As you walk through the world now, you do not walk as someone trying to control, conquer, or even escape.
You walk like a dream gently lived by one who knows this is not all there is, and yet it is sacred. The wind in the trees, the sound of your footsteps, the warmth of sunlight, all of it becomes holy because now you see through it. You see that you are not separate, that the same light animating this moment is the light within you. And so, even if this life is but a dream within a dream, it is a divine one. And you, the dreamer, the witness, the presence behind the eyes, are not bound by it. You are not the form. You are not the thought. You are not even the story. You are the space in which the story happens. And that space is not subject to time. It is not born. It cannot die. It is not lost. It cannot be found. It simply is. And that is enough.